Namaste. A very warm welcome to the Vedic Astrology Masterclass series. I am Miss Preeti and I will be your host for this session. Today's masterclass will be given by Shri Ashutosh Chawla, who will be teaching us about critical factors in horoscope matching. Shri Ashutosh Chawla is currently the administrator of the Department of Jyotisha and Vastu at the Art of Living International Center. After a decade of corporate experience in companies like IBM Daksh, HDFC Bank, Times Foundation, he has dedicated his life in the seva of Param Puja Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji and his mission of putting smile on everyone's face. Learning and exploring Jyotisha for more than 2 decades, he is also a faculty at Art of Living and conducts teaching programs like Breathe and Meditation, Happiness, Yoga, Youth Leadership, Vedic Wisdom, and Jyotish Fundamentals. A very warm welcome to you, Ashutosh ji. Before we begin the masterclass, I would request the audience to note that any questions that you might have can be typed and posted in the comment section. By the end of the session, the speaker will answer them one by one. Over to you, Ashutosh ji.
Thank you so much, Preeti ji, for wonderful introduction. Let us begin by chanting Om three times and Guru Prarthana. So let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in for Om. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanekmurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaste everyone. So, starting by paying my obeisance to the lotus feet of Param Pujya Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji and expressing my gratitude to Raman and Rajeshwari Foundation. The topic of presentation today is critical factors in horoscopes matching. You know, a lot of times we see as an Jyotishi that how people come to us after marriage with a lot of issues in their marriage. And when we ask them that why didn't you match your horoscopes at the time of your wedding, they always come up with this thing: we did match. Pandit says they were very good, things are matching pretty well, there are 25 gunas matching, some says 30 gunas matching, and that's how we went on and got married. But now these problems are cropping up. So such scenarios keep cropping up every now and then. So I thought, why not to talk about certain factors, certain critical factors in horoscope matching. So there are certain reasons why I chose this topic. Though I understand talking only about one factor may take hours, and here I'm talking about multiple factors in horoscope matching, which usually we would teach in a class which span over 20 hours or 25 hours sometimes. So I'll make an attempt to summarize or to give a gist of what are the critical factors according to my experience uh, in horoscope matching in this class. But of course, understanding this is really important because there is so much in media these days. If you've seen a lot of the films of lately, there are a lot of TV series of lately who have shown the entire process of horoscope matching in a very bad light, which is impacting the people of younger generation. And in fact, instead of having faith on such amazing tools, they are hesitating in going to pundits before marriage, or they're a little afraid, especially when somebody liked each other already. They are literally afraid to go and show horoscopes to some jyotishi, because the fear is there in the back of the mind. That's how the media has portrayed that astrologer will say manglik dosh guna is not matching, and he'll say no to our match. So of course we need to really reinstate that faith in the younger generation on this amazing science. Second important thing what I have seen is many of us jyotishis, we have given too much importance to the technicalities of horoscope matching. We look at various factors, ignoring the other practical aspects, which is one of the reasons why today's generation, they're not relying so much on horoscope matching, or the faith is actually diminishing day by day. And when they're not relying on horoscope matching, there is no other tool which can really help them in making a better informed decision, especially when they're making such an important decision like getting married. The third important point, what I've seen with many of us again, uh, some of us are too cautious or too stringent in approving any horoscope. Of course, we do not want to ruin somebody's life by giving wrong guidance. But if we are too stringent in our approach, again, the faith on horoscope matching will go away. So we must make sure that, in fact, I have seen some jyotishis who will reject 8 out of 10 horoscopes. They will only approve 2 which has all things perfect, and then within 2 approved horoscope also, one will face problem later on, so that will also create bad name. So it is really important to understand which factors are important, which factors can be ignored. There have been certain practices, we have learned certain things from the tradition, but with the changing time, we have to change our approach as well. And whatever approach we are adopting, I always say that not just horoscope matching, but the Jyotish is a science which requires constant research, because the society is evolving, the situations are changing, and we really cannot apply the same methods which were devised centuries ago in today's scenario. In fact, in today's scenario also, considering the different sector of society, different stratas of the society, we have to be little flexible in our approach. We have to really change, or somewhere we have to be little stringent, somewhere we have to be little lenient. So we have to look at all those things. So what are all those things before we actually get into the nitty gritties of horoscope matching? There are certain scenarios which I have seen, which people have reported. So I've listed down that these are the 6 scenarios people come with often when they say we have difficult marriage and we need some astrological guidance on it. I've listed them down. The first one is spouse is okay, but in-laws are very difficult to adjust with. This is also a very common thing, that I can go well with my husband or wife, uh, but sometimes it is, especially for ladies, it is difficult to adjust with the in-laws, and that's how the relationship becomes sour. There are scenarios when there is no problem in relationship as such, but as soon as they get married, husband has to go somewhere, live in some other country, live in some other place, wife is somewhere, husband is somewhere, and after a continuous long distance relationship for a longer period, the relationship also starts to die. The third one, often people says that we do not have any relationship left, we are staying together only for the sake of children. So I really do not consider it as a problem. That's how relationships should be. If you have too much of expectations, if you think that the attraction and the love remain as it was in the early years of your marriage, for the rest of your life, that is a wrong expectation, I would say. So I have struck it off that this is not a difficult marriage scenario. That's how weddings, most of the weddings are. So you should accept it. Important things here are when relationship dies and couple also separates, they're not staying together, but there is no legal separation, but they really don't want to see each other or they don't want to stay together anymore. Or else, in certain scenarios, things have gone really, really worse and they have opted for a legal separation so that they can continue with their lives. There is one more scenario which is out of the bound for this discussion: early demise of one of the partners. This is a very detailed topic. We have certain examples, certain case studies with it, but in this presentation we will stick to point number 4 and point number 5. Okay, so now understand, these are the scenarios in front of you, that's what you get. But what are the reasons behind it? What are the reasons behind a difficult marriage within you and your spouse? But first, within you, what actually puts you on edge? So what I'm mentioning here, these are certain pointers which I have come across during my counseling and consulting experience to various couples over past many years. But important thing is that this knowledge is mainly to apply, not to supply. After this, after going through this slide, do not go to your spouse and says that astrologer says these are the things I find it in you, and that's why we are facing all the troubles. So these are certain indications which are mainly to be looked first within you, and of course, you may have the similar issues. Your partner may have similar issues, but this has to be communicated in a very, very nicer way. So, first thing is, if you have too much of material expectation from the spouse, you know your spouse can do so much, and still you keep asking for more. This is for both husbands and wives. Sometimes husbands keep asking for more and more from expecting that wife can manage her professional life along with family and everything, the daily chores. Sometimes wives expect too much out of husband. So you need to really put a check over this. If you're a husband, if you're a wife, just ask yourself if you're asking too much, or are you nagging too much? You're not doing this, you're not doing that. If this is the scenario, you are putting your marriage on the edge. Work on it right away. See, I'm talking about certain practical aspect, but because without addressing these aspects, if we straightway jump to the technical aspects of marriage, horoscope matching, it may not really work. We have to take everything together, look at the practical scenarios, how you can work in your practical life to make your married life better, and then we look at certain planetary situations as well. Again, I already mentioned this, the second point: expecting attraction to last forever. This is another cause for because of which I have seen people come to me saying we have a very difficult marriage. There could be some intimacy issues, extramarital affairs. So of course we need to really check first with yourself, at least I am not falling into this, and then you can definitely expect the same thing from your partner. So whatever you expect from your partner, bring that to the table first. Another interesting scenario I have seen is one partner is too busy, ambitious, and other has a lot of free time, laid back. If the wife is the homemaker and she works from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. to keep everything perfect at home, and husband works only 8 hours a day, and after that he has all the time in this world. So one partner is working 16 hours, the other partner is working for 8 hours. So this may really cause some imbalance in your married life. Differences may start to crop up. Better husbands start looking for doing something more creative, take some more responsibilities with the family. Both partners should work almost equal amount of time. They should be equally busy. If one is too busy, other one is too free. The difference are bound to happen. Differences will start cropping up. If one of the partner is obsessive, too much of narcissism, keep talking about himself or herself only, have some little fanatic nature about certain things, this may also put marriage on the edge. Addictions, of course, smoking, drinking. Nowadays, uh, gaming also has become an addiction. So if you're too much into any of these addictions, there are more addictions, you know about them better. So if any of you, husband or wife, if get engaged into any of these addictions, you are putting your marriage on the edge. Aggressive behavior, mental issues, of course. Sometimes people are going through depression, anxiety, nervous breakdown. Sometimes they are too aggressive, so these things can cause problems in marriage. Severe health issue of one of the partner is really a testing time for the marriage. In our circle, we have seen spiritual fanaticism of one partner is, see, if you are spiritually inclined, that is something else. Spirituality will always make you balance. Spirituality will teach you how to balance your life in such a way that no one is that you are not the problem creator and no one is getting hurt. That's what spirituality teaches. But some people become too fanatic about certain spiritual practices, and that's how they end up hurting their marriage. Some past traumatic experience or the current traumatic experience sometimes may also cause differences between the spouse. Another important thing is, though it is not applied to the common people, but I have seen if the partners have achieved the celebrity status, or if any one of the partner has achieved the celebrity status, he is too popular, he or she is too popular amongst. See, popularity is one thing. Celebrity means celebrity. Not like many of the astrologers who write the celebrity prefix before their name. Not the celebrity astrologer kind of celebrity, but celebrity I'm talking about. So if somebody celebrity means your presence is celebrated, and then you go everywhere and a celebration begins. That's what I understand as celebrity. If you have achieved that status, be very careful. Celebrity charts are to be read in very different way than uh, than a lay people chart, I would say. That's why I've made a point that in this presentation, if I'm going to present some celebrity chart, that would not be the realistic scenario of horoscope matching. Most of us who actually go into horoscope matching, we are not celebrities. We understand that, we accept that, and that's why uh, there is a set of rules which is applied not to celebrities, uh, but for the lay people. We are going to discuss here. Celebrity charts are to be are to be read in a very different way, not in a regular way. So if if you have these issues, if you see that yes, there are one or two or three things present in your married life, either with you or with your partner, so you recognize that there is always a risk. For arranged marriage, people who have got their marriages arranged, after going through this list, they would say that only if I could know about these things in him or her before marriage, right? Because in arranged marriages we don't get much time to get to know each other so well, so that we can really understand that these are the things which are going on with the other partner. If you already know that that your partner is obsessive, narcissistic, or have certain addictions, or have certain kind of spiritual fanaticism, you would not have married that person, right? On the other side, people who have stayed together, been with each other for a long time, and then they decide to get married, especially in the cases of love marriage, uh, that first thought after reading this list would come as, how couldn't I see these things in him or her before marriage? Of course, now you may recognize, if you're going through a difficult marriage, I'm sure one, two, three, or four, maybe more than that, you will be recognizing that these are the issues with my partner or with me. Of course, we don't say with me, but we always blame it on the partner. But before marriage, how couldn't I see these things? Though these things were present, but we get our judgment gets clouded by so much of emotions. So we know that there is a risk. Even in arranged marriage, you don't know much about the partner. In love marriage, you're blinded by love, and you cannot see all these things in your partner. So understand now, the purpose of horoscope matching is to mitigate, not eliminate the risk. So when we are doing horoscope matching, we cannot say that this will eliminate, this will take away all the risk. So you recognize that there is always a risk, there is always a chance you are taking when you decide to marry somebody. So horoscope matching is the tool to mitigate this risk. And this risk, if we actually categorize all those reasons into three, this risk is caused due to only three things: less understanding of self and the prospect or prospect's family. We didn't know much about the prospect or prospect's family, that's what we think. But most of the time, we didn't know what really we wanted in our partner. Before marriage, we wanted certain things, we get those things, and after marriage, we realize that this is not we really wanted, we wanted something else, and this is not there in our partner. That's where the difference starts to crop up. In cases of, as I mentioned, love marriage, emotions cloud your judgment, and you, even if you know the partner very well, you could not see or realize very obvious or subtle things about the prospect or his or her family. And of course, with time, there are different situations which gets created. At time, there are different karmas which surface and different emotions which come up. We have no knowledge about that what is going to happen with us in the coming time. So we mention it as dhrida karmas. Certain karmas you work and then you get over them. You find certain difficult situation, you can work over it. But there are certain karmas you really cannot crossover. You have to go through those difficulties, and you're really not aware that what will happen to your mind after 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So, so these are the three risks present in any marriage, be it arranged marriage, love marriage, any kind of marriage. So, to mitigate this risk, it is always advised to consult a Jyotishi and match your horoscope before you decide on somebody, before you actually emotionally get involved with somebody. We always get charged when things are decided, they're about to get engaged, they liked each other, and then they wanted to match the horoscope. That's not the right time. Before you get emotionally involved with somebody, get your chart, get your charts checked. So, before we go on to checking the chart, checking the horoscopes, there are some important things you need to look at in each other when you're deciding on somebody's prospect and deciding on the prospect. So I call it the priority checklist. Everyone have their own checklist, that these are the things I am looking for in my partner. And in the courtship, they try to see if the other partner has it or not. But I would not want you to change your priority list, but of course have these things included. It is really important if you really check these things, and if you can really put a tick mark to all these things in the prospects, uh, then of course the need of horoscope matching will drastically reduce. And even if there are certain doshas, certain problems in your chart, things are taken care of. So first thing is whether in your courtship you will get to know there is respect, there is mutual respect or not, you have respect for each other or not. Try to figure that out. How strong are the family values? It is often recommended in India uh, that if you're bringing a bride, if your boy is marrying to a girl, uh, and if the girl stays in a joint family, that's a very good thing. Because staying in a joint family itself shows that this family has a lot of bonding, a lot of family values. How open you are in your communication with each other. Again, before checking it in your partner, do a self check also, whether I have these things or not. As I always mention, ask for those things which you can also bring on the table. So first check if you can really have all these values, then you can always seek the similar values in your partner as well. So open communication and having a habit of living by commitment. Commitment is not something which you can show in one case and you cannot show in other case. Some people say, okay, I keep changing the job, I have lived here, there, friends have changed. So, but I will be very committed in my relationship. I will be very committed. I'll show a lot of commitment in my relationship. See, through experience and by talking to so many people in past decade or more than that time, I can really assure you that if commitment is not in your habit, it will not come after marriage. So you have to make sure that living by commitment is a habit. Another important thing, you are getting married. Of course, there are a lot of expectations, but you should be proactive in giving love, not demanding it. As Gurudev often says, demand destroys love. Even if your partner is not too expressive in showing the love, never tell this to the partner. Always tell that how fortunate I am, how much loving partner I have got. But never be demanding in love. Always be available to give love. Try to balance give and take of energies. Sometimes when we are newly married, we want to give everything, we want to give our best. So sometimes over giving also becomes a problem. Just like being over demanding or always being at the receiving end, over giving sometimes also becomes a problem. So try to balance both. If if at certain time you have to give a lot, make sure that your partner also gives back. This way, when the energies are balanced, when give and take is balanced, that's how that's how the married life will move smoothly. Another golden point, a man should always honor the emotions of the lady, and the lady should never steps on the ego of the man. If you keep all husbands, if you keep hurting or if you do not really take care of the emotions of your lady, differences will start cropping up. And for all ladies, if you keep stepping over the ego of the man, differences are bound to happen. Differences are bound to happen. So be very careful on this part. This is a greatest wisdom on relationship we have received from Gurudev. It is always best that both should have a common goal as their life focus. If you do not have any common goal, then you yourself will become focused for each other, and this will end up with constant tugs and fights, and differences will start to crop up. So if you have a common goal, both of you want to build certain things in life, so you should together work for it. If you work as a team towards a common goal, then it is like two railway lines walking running together parallelly, and then they can go on till if two lines run parallel, they can go on till infinity, but if they are facing towards each other, they are bound to clash. A very cliched and old saying, but a very important one, a family that eats together, prays together, stays together. Figure it out if that's how your prospects family is. If this is the habit, I'm sure even after the marriage, the same values will prevail. And and if you're already married, make sure that you at least have one meal with your family, and make sure that at least one prayer a day you do together, whether it is meditation or satsang or anything. But at least once in a day you pray together, you eat together. It is really important that both of you should vibrate at the same frequency. If one has become too spiritual, the other one is too materialistic, there are two different frequencies you're vibrating at, then the differences will crop up. So to vibrate at same frequency, of course, eating together, praying together really helps. This is an old saying. Again, I'm saying it is a very old cliched saying, but it really works. Again, the next point is, though the point may seem very orthodox, that a lady should marry a man of equal or better financial status with similar cultural or traditional values. Uh, this is how nature has created us. In fact, if we refer to the entire Ashtakuta or Dashakuta, Dwadashkuta process or system of horoscope matching, the entire system is based on man being stronger than the woman. Earlier days, the physical strength played an important role, the intellectual strength plays an important role. But nowadays, of course, it is more or less the financial strength. If it is not financial strength, by some means, a man should be stronger than the lady. That's how the nature is. Uh, Here I might be sounding very orthodox, but this really works. If it is not so, I'm not saying the marriages won't work, but it may really cause certain troubles, or it may really add some negative points to the entire math system. A lot of people come to me and say that we have been living in together and we know each other so well. Even if the horoscopes doesn't match, we don't think that there'll be problem later. We can go ahead with the matching. But trust me, in many cases I have seen, I've come across number of live-in relationship cases, and in all of them I have come across, so I can say in most of the living relationship cases, they end up breaking up. In Jyotish, there are two different houses for live-in relationship and for marriage. For live-in relationship, we actually refer to the Arudha of the seventh house. All the Jyotishis here will understand this. The Arudha of the seventh house. For marriage, we look at the Upapada Lagna. When the relationship is institutionalized, when it has got social acceptance, we look at the Upapada Lagna. So your Arudha of seventh might have good planets aspecting it, impacting it. If the Upada has problem, then the relationship may not sustain. So staying in live-in for some time and then marrying actually does not mitigate the risk. So keep that out of your bucket list. In marriage, social acceptance and encouragement is really important for it to last. Some people say that even if society does not accept, we still want to go ahead and marry. But later on, after a few years, when the infatuation or the attraction fades, you will realize that how important social acceptance and encouragement is. So the last 2 points, these are not part of the checklist, but these are some important pointers I wanted to give it to all young people who are aspiring to get married. Okay, so now let's come on to what are the factors we look in the Kundali Milan and horoscopes matching. So there are many things we look at. I've just listed down. Probably there are more things we can keep adding to the list, but these are the things which I would prefer to look at while matching the Kundlis. Of course, the Kuta Milan is one of the 16 factors I've listed. Uh, Somewhere Ashtakutas are matched in southern part of India. In certain systems of horoscope matching, they prefer going for Dashakuta and Dwadashkuta. There are, instead of 8 points, there are 10 pointers and 12 pointers when we are matching the charts. We look at the Chandra Sambandha, how one's Chandra plays with another one, Shukra plays with another one, how are Lagnas with each other. So Lagna, Chandra, and Shukra Sambandha we have to look at. Saptambal we look at, Rahu Ketu Sambandha, Uppada Lagna, and the second from Uppada Lagna, very important one. We often look at Kuja Dosha, Mangalik Dosh. In fact, most of the marriages I have seen, they have, or the systems of matching I have come across, uh, they're using Ashtakuta and Manglik dosha and they're deciding on whether to go ahead or not, which is a very dangerous thing to do. How we will come to know, we'll get to know in the coming slides. So we have to look at the Navamsha's seventh and the eighth bhava, especially, though the entire Navamsha is very important, but especially seventh and the eighth bhava are very important in deciding the quality of married life one is going to have. How are what is the Renanubandha between the two? How are they connected with some past debts? If the Renanubandha is high, it is if the debts to be paid to each other are high, it is considered good. If your stars are not causing a Veda, is not causing an obstacle to the other one. If there is a nakshatra Ved present, in such cases, it is mentioned that if you have nakshatra Veda, it means after getting married, you'll keep causing trouble. Your stars will keep causing trouble to the other one. He might or she might uh, go through health issues or financial issues. So we avoid nakshatra Veda also. There should be no nakshatra Veda. We look at all other grahas, how they are placed with respect to the partner's grahas. We look at the dashas also. If there are dashas sandhis happening, similar dashas happening, how are the dashas going to be after marriage, mahadashas, antardashas. So this also needs to be matched. We also look at a very important thing called the ashtak varga system. So in sarvashtaka varga, we look at the total points received by uh, the sixth house and seventh house. So we look at the comparison. If the sixth house becoming too strong, like seventh house has hardly 16 points, but sixth house is holding 40 points. In such cases, differences do crop up. Such cases are such charts are not considered very good. They need to do some upayas for mitigating this effect. We look at the tithi lord also. Tithi, which tithi you are born in, the lord of that tithi plays a very important role in your approach towards relationship. So this needs to be looked at. We need to look at the ayushya in both the charts. Though the regular Gemini method, the triple set rule, in my experience, it has not worked very well. There are other methods like calculating pindayus and all, these work better. So, but these are very lengthy methods. We are not going to discuss in this class. Uh, but Ayushya needs to be looked at. There are other two important things which has come recently in our research. We have used Krishnamurti Paddhati method to ascertain that how many grahas are positive for marriage in one's chart. So if we really bring two charts together, in both the charts together, if there are 10 or more positive grahas, which means the negative grahas should be 8 or less. So if there are 10 or more positive grahas, combining both the grahas, 9 grahas of the bride, 9 grahas of the groom, we combine their scores and we see if 10 of them are showing positive sign, we consider it as a good match. Sometimes I have seen one person has like 7 or 8 grahas Shubha, other one has only 2 or 3. In such cases, we say okay, even if the one person does not listen or they behave badly, the other person is mature enough to adjust to the needs of the partner. So in such cases, marriages survive. This is a very important study. We'll show some cases. We'll go through some cases in this presentation. And then we also go one step further and check how positive these grahas are. So we calculate some score and we make some calculation to figure out overall positivity in marriage is how much percent. So we'll not go into the calculation part too much, but I'll give you the result that how these factors are important. Okay. These are total number of factors, but there are some critical factors which must be looked at in the charts. So again, in critical factors, I have put them into two different categories: amber and in red category. So amber category factors are those factors if they are present in one chart, they will put this chart on the edge of a difficult marriage. And if they have amber category factors plus red category factors, then it may really spoil the marriage. And when I'm saying spoil the marriage, need not be separation, but even if the couple is staying away from each other because they don't want to see each other's face, that is also a grave difficulty in a marriage, I would say. So we really want to avoid such situations. So what are the amber factors? What are the red factors? So we always in Ashtakuta, we always look at the nadi, right? And then many of us have realized even if some people have same nadi, there are no problems in married life. Things are going pretty well. I have seen a lot of people with ante nadi, fantastic married life, no problems at all. children are also happy, healthy, their health are also fine. So, however, whenever both of them have Madhya Nadi, that's when you have to really take it seriously. You cannot ignore Madhya Nadi. Consider it as one of the amber factor added. Not in Ashtakuta, but in the systems who are following Dwadashakuta, we also look at the Rajju dosh. So those who understand the Dwadash Kuta, they would know what Rajju dosha is. We will not get into the description of each dosha, otherwise this will become a 20 hours class. There are various Rajju doshas. Both of them, if they fall under Shiro Rajju, Kanta Rajju, Pada Rajju, Kati Rajju, they should not be same Rajju. They should not fall under the same Rajju. Especially, they should not fall under the Kati Rajju. I have seen both having Shiro Rajju, things are okay. Both having Pada Rajju, things are okay. But both having Kati Rajju, things are not okay. That's where there is a red flag. There is an amber flag, I would say. Chandra and Shukra in Shadashtak from each other. Boys Chandra, girls Chandra, they are in Shadashtak. Boys Shukra, girls Shukra, they are in Shadashtak. These are both Jalatattva. Jalatattva is really important to connect. And if they are in 6-8 from each other, it really makes them difficult to connect at emotional or romantic level. So, again, not a breaking factor, but of course, an amber flag. If Shukra is the Atma Karaka in someone, in any one of the partner's chart, this itself shows that there is some pending karmic relation, some relationship with karma from the past. And if the Shukra is afflicted, it shows it is a difficult relationship karma from the past. So if any one of the chart has afflicted Shukra, again an amber flag. The relationship can go sour because there are certain times when Shukra will act in a different way, and certain happiness will be taken away. For Kuja dosha, of course, we always look at the Kuja dosha. I have not mentioned anywhere in neither in the amber factor nor in the red factor the Kuja dosha. Uh, I would really recommend everyone to go and watch the presentation, the masterclass given by Raman Supraja Ramaji in this series. He has spoken in detail about the impact of Kuja dosha in different rashis and different houses. So, taking a clue from the presentation, only if the Mars is in the 8th house or 12th house, it may raise an amber flag in certain cases. Upapada Lagna afflicted with malefics, or the second from Upapada Lagna is also afflicted with malefics. This is a serious concern. However, the method I have adopted, I consider the Arudha of the 12th house as Upapada Lagna only if the Lagna has odd sign in it. If Lagna has even sign in it, I consider the second bhavas, the Arudha of the second house as Upapada Lagna. Maharishi Parashar has only mentioned Anuchar Pada as Upapada. Now, some people consider Anuchar as the fifth house. Some people consider Anuchar as the following, the preceding house, which is the 12th house. However, basis the direction of the Rashi, it changes, and this has really worked. So, if you're really following this system, if you're really trying this system, I would suggest follow the system to the last dot. Uh, Consider 12th house Arudha as Upada only for odd sign Lagna, and consider second house Arudha as Upapada for even sign Lagna. We'll see some case studies also. So again, taking reference of the KP methods I have talked about. So if there are more than 8 or 18 graha, 8 out of 18 grahas, 9 of bride, 9 of the groom, 18 grahas, if 8 grahas are negative for marriage, more than 8 grahas are negative for marriage, as per KP calculation, more than half, if half or more than half becomes negative, then it raises an amber flag. There's a problem there. What are the most critical? See, I have seen gunas matching at 11 gunas, 12 gunas, 15, 16, all of them, all such marriages are going well. There's only one instance I have seen when there are 8 out of 36 gunas matching and still marriage went well. So I have kept this as, even when you are really doing the matchmaking, make sure at least 10 gunas are matching. Though I do not have many case studies supporting such marriages, or many case studies which can actually say that less than 10 gunas matching and still marriages are going fine. So I have just mentioned this to be on the safer side. So less than 10 gunas, if there are 4 gunas, 5 gunas, the personalities are going to be too different. Anyways, there will be differences between the two. Unless there are fantastic modifying factors, which we'll learn in the coming slides. Rahu Ketu axis is in the first and the seventh bhava of the Bhava Chalita. Now, how Bhav Chalita is calculated? There are different settings of Bhav Chalita. So this Bhav Chalita setting, I'm giving it to you. So you have to select the Krishnamurti Paddhati method, Placidus houses, and taking cusp as the beginning of the house. These two settings you have to change in your software and then form the Bhav Chalita. Uh, for the basic calculation purpose, I'm sticking to the standard methods. I have taken the Drik Siddhanta with traditional Lahiri Ayanamsha. No special Ayanamsha. So all these studies I have done, all the researches which have happened, they've happened with the standard settings of calculation. So if Rahu Ketu axis is in the first and the seventh of Bhav Chalita of one partner, and the other partner does not have Rahu Ketu in Kendra, then it is a red flag. This is an important one. Any one partner has Rahu Ketu axis in 1-7, be it Rahu in Lagna or Ketu in Lagna. The other partner should have Rahu Ketu at least somewhere in Kendra, 1-7 or 4-10. If it is not there, it is a red flag. It is a serious concern. Given the current times, if same graha becomes Tithi and Vara Lord in anyone's chart, one of the partner's chart, like if somebody is born on Ekadashi and on Tuesday, in this case, Mangal becomes Vara Lord as well as Tithi Lord. So this is a problem. This is like fire and water coming together. Tithi is the water, Vara Lord is the fire, and they both have become one. It's like kind of Amavasya Yog caused, and it really caused troubles to the married life. Even if the Tithi and Vara Lord they conjunct somewhere, anywhere in your Lagna chart, Rashi chart, it is a problem. It indicates, it raises a red flag. If the Tithi Lord becomes combust, it's too close to the sun and it is combust. So when you're looking at combustion, do not go by the degrees mentioned by Maharishi Parashar. Uh, of course, I would not say that do not follow Maharishi Parashar. He's the authority of Jyotish. Of course, we are learning Jyotish by his grace only. Most of the calculations or most of the softwares give you the combustion basis, the looking at only at the longitudinal degrees, but we also have to look at the latitudinal degrees. And it is thanks to, again, every presentation I thank Narasimha Rao Garu for this, that Jagannath Hora has given combustion considering both. So if a planet shows combust in Jagannath Hora, takes it as combust. Otherwise, don't worry. Not according to this system. If you follow certain other system for other things, it is okay. But here I'm saying check with Jagannath Hora. If it is showing combust, take it. Otherwise, don't take it as combust. Mars is in seventh or eighth Navamsha with no dosh samyama. If one partner has Mangala, Mars in the seventh house of Navamsha chart or in the eighth house of Navamsha chart, this raises a red flag. You should check at least this. The other partner should be Manglik in Navamsha Kundali, if not in seventh, eighth house. The other partner should have Kujadosha in his Navamsha, his or her Navamsha Kundali. If this much is matched, it is okay. There is no red flag. But if it is not there, then it is a red flag. Saptamesh, Saptam Bhav or Shukra, uh, especially if Saptam Bal is gone, we have to look at the Saptam Bhava, Saptamesh, and the Shukra. Especially if the Saptamish or Shukra, they are combust or they go in Maran Karakasthana or they are afflicted by two malefics and Badakesh or Badakesh, it is a problematic Saptam Bhav. So if the Saptam Bhav is problematic, the marriage issues will crop up. Most important, Upapada Lagna or second from Upapada Lagna. Again, I already mentioned this in Amber, but this is critical. If it is if Upapada Lagna or second from it is afflicted by any graha, any malefic graha, that goes in Amber. But if it has Ketu in it, or it gets the drishti of a retrograde Shani, retrograde Saturn, then it raises a red flag. It is an important thing. Such cases, there are very, very rarely I have seen that marriages have survived. Very rarely. Some if somebody got married like 40 years ago, different things, or probably they needed the birth time correction. But this is a very critical factor. Again, you might see some charts where it does not happen, but again, if you're following this method, follow my way. So retro drishti of Saturn is to be counted in reverse direction. So if Shani is retrograde in at some place in your chart, instead of looking at the third bhava, it is looking at the 11th house now. Instead of looking at the 10th bhava from itself, now it is looking at the fourth bhava. I'm counting in the retrograde motion. Follow this for Saturn, at least for this, for testing this theory or this thesis. Follow this method only. Retro grahas drishti, it may not impact any other graha except Shani and Mangala. Guru's drishti are 5 and 9, Rahu's drishti 5 and 9. It doesn't make much difference. It doesn't make any difference rather. But for Mangal and Shani, if they are retrograde, count in retro direction. The only saving factor in such cases I have seen is the exaltation of Upapada Lord. If you get a retro Shani Drishti on your Upapada Lagna and Upapada Lagna becomes retrograde, exalted, in such cases I have seen results are different. Marriages have survived well. Okay, so let's look at certain case studies. Oh, but before that, let's look at some positive factors also. If you have some negative factors, you have certain positive factors which can actually override many critical factors. So if the bride and groom have Lagna in Samasaptaka, one has, for example, Mithuna Lagna, the other one has Dhanur Lagna. So this way, Samasaptaka happens, and this is a very positive thing to happen, and it can override many critical factors. The attraction, should not say attraction, but the compatibility lasts forever in such cases. Exchange of seventh lord with any other Kendra lord or Trikona lord in one's chart. Any one chart, this exchange is happening. The seventh house has become very strong, very strong. If the seventh house or the Lagna of Navamsha are blessed by multiple positive grahas, multiple benefic grahas, or if some Saptaka is happening in Navamsha also, this also can compensate for many doshas in Lagna chart. So these are three life-saving factors. We would also like to see when we are actually matching the charts. If you find too many doshas, but these factors are there, they can really override many doshas. So let's look at some case studies now. We have a few minutes. We'll take a little more time, but let's complete a few case studies. So this is one of the chart. I would say this is one of the charts where many years ago, almost like 16 years ago, I have said not to get married. This is one of my cousins actually, and the girl is one of my cousins, and it was a love marriage, and when her father, my uncle, showed me the charts in 2006, I believe, I denied. I said, this is not a good match. You look at the chart by yourself. There are only 12 gunas matching. And if you look at the regular method of Upapada Lagna, the boy has Rahu in the Upapada Lagna. So it is a concerning thing. It is also aspected by Mangala. So problem. The seventh house of Navamsha also has Rahu. So again problem. So I see only 12 gunas matching, and this and then according to some opinion, the boy was also Manglik because second house also sometimes is considered as Manglik. So I said no, this is not a good match. You look at the Chandra position also. The the one's Chandra is in Simha Rashi, the other one is in Meen Rashi, Shadashtak of Chandra. And we have seen whenever Chandra is in Shadashtak, they keep arguing throughout their life. So, not a good match. Obviously, married for 16 years, the current situation, they are married for 16 years. Fantastic marriage. Beautiful family life. Wonderful people. No problems at all. How did that happen then? So there are some cases which I've encountered, which whom I've recommended, like not to get married some 15 years ago, 16 years ago, and then they have fantastic married lives now, which actually made me do this research and figure out that what are those things which are saving the marriage, what are those things which are actually impacting or hampering the marriages. So if you really look at the critical factors here, the listed critical factors, there are two amber flags, I would say. Just one thing, the Chandra is in Shadashtak from each other. This is one amber flag. The other one is through KP method. They're marginal. I've said there should not be more than 8 negative grahas. They have 9 negative grahas, but a 20% positive kundli is a decent one. Anything positive is, we consider it okay. So, Rahu Ketu dosh, no problem at all. No Tithivara dosh. We looked at everything. There's one fantastic thing happening, that in Navamsha, their Lagnas are Samasaptaka. So in Navamsha, the boy has Karka Lagna and she had Makara Lagna. So a very positive factors which has actually overridden the two flags, two amber flags. And to add on to the negativity again here, there was Nakshatra Ved present. If you say that there are other important factors, why don't we consider them? Look at here. He is born in Revati Nakshatra first pada, she is born in Magha Nakshatra. So there is a Veda. Revati and Magha, they cause Ved to each other. So Nakshatra Ved, usually people reject the chart, but fantastic marriage. There was a Nakshatra Ved present. Both have same Pada Rajju, same Rajju dosha, is causing a dosha, but still things are okay. The Mahendra Kut, for those who are following Dwadasha Kuta, they would understand Mahendra Kut was also absent. No Mahendra Kut. Nadi, both of them are Antya Nadi. No Bhakut, no Gana match. Top 3, 8, 7, 6 point, got 0, 0, 0. So if you really look at this chart holistically, you would have rejected it. I had rejected it 16, 17 years ago. But it turned out to be a very different story. So that's why I'm saying, apparently how charts look just basis the Ashtakuta, Kujadosha, or certain things, it is best not to make a decision. And of course, the practical factors were all positive. I still remember her words. She said, Bhaiya, brother, if just because charts are not matching, uh, how can we ignore such a wonderful human being? And of course, the boy is a great human being, as far as I know. So look at the practical factors also. Let's look at another case study. Just to illustrate that how these factors are playing the roles. How many amber flags? There are three amber flags. They've got 28 gunas matching. And in these 28 gunas, understand Nadi was matching, Bhakut or Rashi Kut was matching, Gana matching, Graha Maitri, top four, all points 8 out of 8, 7 out of 7, 6 out of 6, and 5 out of 5. All of them full points. So apparently it looked like fantastic. And of course, you look at the Manglik dosha also, the Kuja dosha also. Uh, the fourth house Kuja dosha is not considered very harmful. Again, I recommend you to refer to the presentation made by Sri Supraja Ramaji. He explains very well with many evidences that how it is not that harmful, but they are actually legally separated. The difference is cropped up so much. You look at the Upapada Lagna of the boy, according to the regular traditional method, the Upapada Lagna has Chandra Drishti, no problem at all. The girl's Upapada Lagna, of course, she has Rahu Mars, which may cause some trouble, and Shani Drishti. So this is showing. But what we have learned, we have to look at the Upapada Lagna. If the Lagnas are even sign, we have to look at the Arur of the second house. So I would rather look at the Arur of the second house in boy's chart. It is aspected by Shukra and Shani, and the second from Arudha is aspected by Mangal. So there is some affliction in Upapada Lagna in boy's chart. That's why it has raised an amber flag. I have also put it there. Look at the Upapada Lagna of the girl's chart. The Upapada Lagna of the girl's chart, again, we look at the Arudha of second house here. So it clearly has Ketu sitting in it with Mangala Drishti over it. So when Ketu sits on it, sits in the Upapada Lagna, Mangal Drishti on it, it is a critical factor, make or break kind of thing. So it raised a red flag. Look at the Saptam Bhava. In the boys chart, things are okay. Saptamesh Chandra is in a good place. Of course, Papa Kartari happening, but still acceptable. Uh, Shukra is also okay. Nothing big. It's with Shani, but Shani is a Mitra Graha, so it is not causing too much of trouble. Uh, However, it is also aspected by Rahu. So in boys chart, Shukra is troubled. So we say that Shukra is troubled because Shani and Rahu, two malefics, are actually causing the conjunction and aspect. So Shukra is troubled in the boys chart, and let's look at in the girls chart. Uh, Here the Shukra is present in the Mithun Rashi with a drishti of retrograde Saturn with a drishti of Rahu. So Shukra is cursed in actually both the charts. So this is again caused the Shukra or Saptam Sthiti very difficult. So two red flags with two or three amber flags is good enough to reject any match, I would say. So if you really follow this method, two or three amber flags with two red flags, good enough to reject any match. So it should have been rejected, but somehow it was approved by someone, and then they had to go through the difficult times. Another case study. So there are so many interesting cases. I tried to pick up a few case studies only, which can give you different angles or different perspectives to look at the critical factors we have already discussed. So here again, in this chart, Ashtakuta max score was 19. So we usually approve such things, right? We usually approve this thing. If you actually look at the Rahu Ketu placement also, the boy has Rahu Ketu in Lagna in seventh, and the girl has it uh, in fourth and 10th. So this actually should have caused the dosh samyama. So it should not have caused the dosha. So Rahu Ketu dosha samyama happened, and it is clear. So Rahu Ketu is not causing a problem here. There is no Tithivara dosha, but of course, both of them have Madhya Nadi dosha. Both of them have Katirajju dosha. Both their Shukra, if you will look at, uh, yeah, the Shukra of the boy especially, it is afflicted by Rahu and Mangala. Mangala is retrograde, right? Mangala's retrograde drishti falling on Shukra, Rahu's drishti falling on Shukra. Shukra is in the Marana Karakasthana, badly afflicted Shukra for the girl. And the seventh bhava also gets Shani and retrograde Mars's drishti on it. So this chart apparently should have been rejected. Clear rejection. The boy's Upapada Lagna has beautiful moon and Venus sitting in it, but the second from it has Shani, Surya, Budh. Budh being with Shani and Surya also acts as a malefic. So there is some trouble going here. But boy is very adjusting. Very beautiful Upapada Lagna. Look at the girl's Upapada Lagna. Again, even Lagna. So I look at the Arrow of the second house, A2. And A2 has Rahu sitting in it with Mars's drishti on it. Again, retrograde Mars, I count opposite. With Mars's drishti on it. So it caused a lot of trouble. And that's how they are separated. If you look at their charts, both of them have Sarpa Yoga. They should have got some remedies done for Sarpa Yoga before planning a life together. One Sarpa Yoga itself is a trouble. Both of them, the two partners with Sarpa Yoga, they come together. It is a big problem. So I have actually put a red flag to the Shukra affliction because Shukra is not just afflicted; it is also in the Marana Karakasthana. So this really caused troubles. I have seen things going really very worse in such cases. According to KP method, there are 11 negative grahas, 11 grahas out of the 18 grahas which are showing negative marriage, which are showing difficulties in marriage. So of course this was also another amber flag. So if you really look at these factors only, there are like five amber flags with two red flags. So this definitely would have been a big no, but somebody matched the chart and they got married, and that's how things are. They have suffered a lot. Another interesting case study. Herein, there are no amber flags. There is one flag according to KP method uh, we follow, but there are some real difficult scenarios. All red flags are present. See here, apparently you may see that Rahu Ketu, the boy has Rahu Ketu in 1 and 7, and the girl has Ketu Rahu in 7 and 1. This should not have been a problem, but as I mentioned, we need to look at this in Chalit with certain settings, right? So I have already put the Graha Spashta here, the details of the Grahas and the Bhava Spashta and the Graha's position in it. So if you look at the boy's chart, the Rahu has moved to the 12th house in Chalit. In girl's chart, it has not moved. A dosha, a red flag. Tithivara, boy was born on the Tritiya Tithi, which is owned by Mars on Saturday. Shani Mangal together causing the Tithivara dosha. The second from Upapada Lagna, look at again, these are all even signs even signs Lagnas we are getting. So if we look at the Arudha of the second, it falls into the sixth house. The second from Upapada Lagna has Ketu in it and also has Shani Drishti over it. We have not considered it as the fatal thing because Shani is not retrograde, but still Ketu in it, and on top of it, Shani is Drishti over it. So this has caused some serious trouble in the chart of the boy. This should not have been a match. Girl's chart has Rahu and Mangal. Mangal in the seventh house and Rahu present in it. If Mangal is the fire in the seventh house, Rahu is that wind which actually aggravates the fire. It makes this fire a forest fire. It is a really troublesome situation here in the ninth bhava of the girl's Navamsha. But still, the charts were matched. Let's look at some more couple of more interesting examples before we start taking questions. So here in this chart, if you look at, not many doshas, but again the critical ones. Rahu Ketu dosha samyama. Again, you see here the Rahu Ketu. Apparently, it doesn't seem like they are in Lagna in the seventh, but if you actually look at the Chalit chart, the Rahu has moved to the first house. So Rahu and Ketu has come to the first and the seventh house. But the girl has Rahu Ketu in the fourth and tenth, so should have Samyama. But actually, you look into the Chalit chart again, the girl's Rahu Ketu has moved back. So the Samyama does not happen here. And it causes a red flag. Look at the Saptam Bhava. Mercury Mangal with retrograde Shani's Drishti over it. Trouble. So it shows Saptam Bhava is also troubled. Rahu Ketu position is also difficult. Upapada Lagna and second from Upapada Lagna has affliction. Look at the Arudha of the Upapada Lagna of the boy. So the second from Upapada Lagna has Mangal and Surya present in it. And Mangal or Surya are too close. I think Mangal was combust here. Shukra is debilitated. The second from Upapada Lagna otherwise would have been okay, but Mangal Surya, Mangal is in the debilitation sign, so it really has caused a lot of fire in the house, in the environment, or in the married life, which has caused great difficulties from the boy side and the girl side. Both of them had to go through a lot of fire, so the marriage could not sustain. Here also, legal separation happened. So we talked about legal separation cases. Now let's look at a case where they are not legally separate. Again, this chart I matched few years ago. They are family again, and about 10, 12 years ago, I matched this chart and I said okay to go. You look at the chart. Apparently, by regular means, 28 gunas match. Only one nadi dosha, but it was madhya nadi dosha. Both of them had madhya nadi. They had Kati Rajju dosha. No other amber flags. Everything looks fantastic. They also had Tithivara dosha. The chart of the girl, she was born on again Ekadashi on Tuesday. So it caused the Tithivara dosha. So first problem. And the Saptamesh. Saptamesh, the Saptam Bhava in the chart of the girl is aspected by Shani, retrograde Shani is aspecting the Saptam Bhava. Mangal is aspecting the Saptam Bhava. So the Saptam Bhava is anyways in a difficult situation here. Look at the Shukra. The Shukra is okay in this case. Here the Shukra is cursed. The Shukra is with Rahu and it also has Shani's Drishti on it. So the Saptamish and Shukra Sthiti, Tithi Vara Dosha, Madhyanadi Kati Raju. These are the only things which has caused troubles. See, this marriage was fantastic. It was a love marriage. Everything was fantastic for the first few years. And only after the childbirth, things starts to become difficult between them. So if they're married for about 10 years, the first 3 years, 4 or 5 years, first 3 years were okay, then 2 years were a little challenging. And after that, after the first 5 years, things are very different. Things have really gone worse, and then they're not even staying together now. Not legally separate, but not staying together also. So do not take Madhyanadi and Katiraju lightly. These are important things. And do not take Tithivara Dosha lightly. These are important things. Of course, Saptam Bal we always consider, so I need not mention that. So after looking at some difficult charts, let's look at a chart which apparently looked very difficult, but it was a great marriage. Again, no amber flags here. The Upapada Lagna and second from Upapada Lagna, uh, that has trouble. So if you look at the boys chart, the second from Upapada Lagna has Ketu and Mangal sitting in it. Uh, odd sign lagna, so we look at the regular Upapada lagna. It has Ketu and Mangal sitting in it. So it is a trouble. Here we look at where is how is the Upapada lagna. In the Upapada lagna, if you see here, Surya, Shani, and Mangal are sitting. But amazing thing, what is happening here? See, we look at certain things and we say, "Oh, this is not a good marriage at all. This is a difficult chart. They should not have got married." Clear signs, right? Surya, Shani, Mangal, here also Ketu, Mangal. It shows very difficult marriage. Let's look at Rahu, Ketu, Dosha, Samyama. Rahu, Ketu in one chart. Of course, it looks like Rahu, Ketu 7-1, and then Rahu, Ketu 4-10. There should be Dosh, Samyama, but actually, look here. Rahu has moved to the third. Here it doesn't. So there is no Dosh, Samyama with Rahu, Ketu. So it has actually caused a dosha, Rahu, Ketu dosha, which is actually should have been a red flag. There is also a Tithi Vara dosha. Both of them have born on Shukla Ekadashi on Tuesday. Both of them have this. Now, I think husband is born on Shukla Ekadashi on Tuesday. So a clear dosha. But wife's Mars is combust. It is very close to Sun. If you look at Sun is at 9 degree, Mars is at 8 degrees 42. So Mars is actually totally combust here. So the Tithi Lord is combust in one case. Other case, Tithi Lord is anyways and Tithi Lord and Vara Lord, they have become same. So it has caused the Amavasya Yoga. It is a dosha causing. So it should have also been a red flag. One's second from Upapada Lagna is highly afflicted, the other one's Upapada Lagna is highly afflicted. On 20 Ashtakuta match. According to KP method, there are only 8 negative planets which are acceptable. So we can not take it as a amber flag, but still. However, if we go deeper into it and we understand, see, the purpose why I'm presenting it all is I'm giving you a framework, but do not get stuck with this framework. What is important is to apply all our Jyotish experience, all our Jyotish knowledge, our intuition in analyzing a chart. So if I'm applying the same thing, if I really stick to only this framework, I would have rejected this, right? But then I looked at how is Rahu. If Rahu is causing a dosha, say Rahu is in the seventh house, so that's a problem, and the other person does not have it in Kendra, it is not causing a samyama. But Rahu, how troubling the Rahu is. I see Rahu is in Mithuna Rashi, the exalted sign, and in exaltation, if as we know, as given by Maharishi Parashar, the inauspiciousness is 0%, auspiciousness is 100%. So it is actually an auspicious Rahu. So the malefic effect of Rahu has reduced drastically here. But in case some effect is still there, there are other planets causing certain things. It is not at the peak point. So there are many opinions on it. I've checked how is the seventh Lord present. The seventh Lord Shani is also with Rahu. So instead of Rahu being in seventh house, not being in seventh house, the Shani Rahu conjunction is still there. Both of them are still in the same Rashi, even though Rahu moves to the third bhava. Not causing the dosh samyama, but Shani Rahu being together has actually caused some Rahu effect on the seventh house, and the seventh house has Rahu effect here. So it is actually causing some kind of dosh samyama. So whenever you see this kind of axis in one chart in Chalit happening, other chart it is not happening, always look at the dignity of the graha, also look at the conjunction, how other planets are affecting. That's why I'm saying sticking to a framework definitely helps, but only sticking to that framework, ignoring all other things, all other practical aspects, or other grahas influence is not a good idea. We have to be open. We have to really put our best into managing, into matching the charts, because somebody is really relying with their lives on us. So here, even after raising the flag, I cancelled it and I put a tick mark. And of course, you look at the positive factor. If you have to look at the Navamsha. Of course, these are amongst the three I have mentioned. Fantastic 7,000 Navamsha. So the wife has amazing Navamsha with Shukra and Chandra sitting in it. So causing a lot of positivity. But look at the second from Upapada of the girl's chart. It has exalted Venus and own house Jupiter sitting in it. So when the second house from Upapada, it talks about the sustenance of marriage, the quality of married life is Upapada Lagna, how this life will be sustained. Second from it, it has Shukra exalted with Jupiter in it. Amazing wisdom to sustain a relationship. So it is this Shukra Guru combination which has made them live together throughout the life. Of course, these are the chart of some elderly people. 36 years they are married now. So during those times, the values were different. The marriages were made in a different way, even though they had to go through some difficult times because of different red flags or amber flags. The values were different. So that's how things survived. Nowadays, things are changing. That's why we have to be uh, little strict in our approach. We cannot be too lenient. But again, if you're too strict, also people are not getting married. Then also it's a problem. So we should not fall in either category. Somebody who is too lenient, somebody who is too strict. We have to find the right balance. Look at those factors which are really important and look at it holistically. So this was a good chart, a good marriage. Uh, well, I think this will be the last chart wherein I I sh- I try to illustrate how some certain flags or certain difficult situations can also cause good marriage. You look at this chart again; they are my good friends from I would say my early days. The boy has asked me. Both of them. This is a case of love marriage. They knew each other from their childhood. They have studied together in the same city, same school. They grew up together. Families knew each other, and before they almost decided, but just by chance because we were staying together, and the boy asked me that I'm marrying my childhood love, and do you want to check the chart again? 16, 17 years ago, I checked the chart and I raised the flag. I said, what are you doing? This is a problematic marriage. It may not sustain. But still he decided to ignore my advice, and they got married. They're very happy. Fantastic marriage. Both of them are brilliant people, and great family life. Again, if I would have looked only at these factors and then continued to say no, 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 things would have been difficult. But their families knew each other. They had similar values, similar culture. They grew up together, and it was not an emotional decision from either of them. They knew each other from the childhood. The families were involved, so the practical aspects were all satisfied. But again, we'll come back to the Jyotish aspect, to the astrological aspects. There were three important amber flags. Both of them had Madhyanadi, which I initially I mentioned that this should not be taken for granted. So this is a serious flag. Look at the Upapada Lagna of the girl's chart. It has Mangal sitting in it and retrograde Saturn's aspect on it. So it is a red flag. Retrograde Saturn's aspect on the Upapada Lagna is a red flag. Why I struck it, I'll come to it later. Look at the boys Upapada Lagna. Again, the regular Upapada Lagna. So it has Shukra Drishti on it. Shukra is okay. Shukra is aspected by Mangal and Shani. So that's a concern. So again, I have put a red flag there in the boys chart. Otherwise, things are okay. Now, 11 gunas matching only with these doshas. It should have been a case of clear rejection. However, if we actually look at now the green side will go. Their lagnas are in Samsaptaka. A lot of people say that Simha Lagna and Kumbha Lagna Samsaptaka does not work. I have so many charts illustrating that how wonderful their marriages are. Even if it is Simha Lagna and Kumbha Lagna, Samsaptaka works there. Look at the D9 of the girl. Again, Shukra and Chandra. Look at the seventh house D9 Navamsha chart. The boy has Jupiter in it. Both of them wonderful people, wonderful marriage, everything went pretty well. Now, why I struck off this Shani's aspect on Upapada Lagna with Mangal's presence there, because a lot of Upapada Lagna is in exaltation, and as if we go back to our rules, if there is some critical factor, if there is a red flag on Upapada Lagna, the exaltation of the Upapada Lagna Lord can save it, which is happening here clearly. So the Shukra becoming exalted, and this has caused no troubles at all. So there were little fights here and there, which happens in every married life, but things are fantastic. So so I like to conclude that that if you look at certain charts, if you find certain things in your chart, in your family member's chart, don't worry too much, because prayers have a lot of power. It is said that beyond grahas is the realm of devatas, and from beyond devatas, the grace of Guru prevails. So if you have Guru in your life, and if you're really committed, if you really have that strong faith in the grace of your Guru, then it can fix anything. The only thing you need is to have faith for miracles do happen, and any life can turn around for good. Thank you so much. Jai Gurudev. We can take some questions if we have time. So, Preeti ji, are there any questions?
Yes, sir. I think Mr. Girish has displayed it on the screen.
What if Upapada Lagna and Arudha Lagna in Samasaptaka, in which Moon is in Arudha Lagna and Venus in Upapada Lagna? See, if you have Venus in Upapada Lagna, that is very good. But Samasaptaka, which you mean to say, if one has, if your bride's Upapada Lagna is in Samasaptaka with the groom's Arudha Lagna, that is also an okay thing. I would suggest having Venus in Upapada Lagna itself is very good. Having Venus in Leo itself is a very good indication for having a strong committed marriage. So the Upada Lagna Samasaptaka may not work as good as Lagna Samasaptaka. Herein we are taking Samasaptaka as one of the overriding factors, but Upapada Lagna and Arudha Lagna in Samasaptaka cannot be taken as an overriding factors. At least I have not seen, or it has not come into my studies. Not as an overriding factor. It is a good factor, definitely. It is a plus one. Next question. So Poonam ji is asking, why is Rahu in the seventh house and Navamsha such a no-no? What can be redeeming factor in such case when in Rashi chart Rahu is in the first house itself? See, Rahu in the seventh house of Navamsha, I didn't mention as a no-no. Rahu in the seventh house of Navamsha talks about the unconventional or untraditional marriage, or you may like to marry someone who has a very different family cultural values than yours. There is a possibility, but Rahu in the first house itself gives you a certain mindset which not everybody can really gel up with. So it is important if you have Rahu in the first house or in the seventh house. Rahu in the first house causes Ketu to go in the seventh house, or if the Rahu goes into the seventh house, Ketu comes in the first house. Uh, I have seen Rahu in the first house. Such people are very confident on a positive note, but sometimes they are a little narcissistic. They think too much about themselves, and they with Ketu going in the seventh house, they care less about the partner. So this is not a good combination to have. But as a dosh samyama, if you have Rahu Ketu somewhere in the Kendra, the other partner has Rahu Ketu somewhere in the Kendra, it really compensates for having Rahu or Ketu in Lagna or seventh. So I hope that answers your question, Poonamji. We can take the next question.
I think that's all the
There were not
time we
many
have
questions.
today. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Thank you, Ashutosh ji, for the excellent masterclass. This was the concluding class of this year's masterclass series. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful viewers for all their love and support throughout the series. It has been a great source of motivation for us. If you wish to stay informed about the activities of the foundation, please subscribe to our Telegram channel. Also, let me remind the audience that all the masterclass series talks are available for free on YouTube and Facebook. So, with this is me signing off. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Preeti ji. Namaste.